I want to tell you about one of the weirdest relationships I've ever had with a video game. Because Red Dead Redemption 2 is not some overlooked masterpiece waiting to be discovered. It launched on October 26, 2018, earned more than 275 perfect review scores and over 175 Game of the Year awards. I mean, this game is not some mystery box that nobody opened or some hidden gem, and plenty of people have seen it through to the end. When I checked Steam's global achievement data, roughly 20.4% of players had completed the epilogue. For a massive 100+ hour open world game, that's actually a remarkably strong completion rate, and it represents millions of players experiencing the story all the way through. People have been telling us for years that this is one of the greatest open world games ever made, which made me wonder, if so many people saw this incredible journey through to the end, why couldn't I? Like many, I bought this game at launch. I tried to get into it, but you know what? For whatever reason, I bounced off. Then a few years later, I tried again, and the same thing happened. You would think, well, 2 strikes and the game gets shelved alongside my New Year's resolutions and my gym membership, but then on my 3rd try, for whatever reason, this thing got its hooks in me so hard that I'm sitting here wondering why the hell I didn't understand it sooner. And I think I know why. It's because the first 2 times I approached Red Dead Redemption 2 like I approached too many other games, like some sort of checklist, like something to optimize to feed my fucking OCD, where I'm just sprinting from mission to move efficiently and hoover up every side quest marker to keep that dopamine dripping. I tend to want to look up the best guns or builds to keep my little goblin brain entertained, only to actively spoil the game scrolling through Reddit at 2 a.m. because I think there's a better way to play. By the 3rd attempt, I forced myself to do the opposite. I went in with nothing. No guides, no story spoilers, no tips and tricks videos, no min-maxing, no suggestions which weapons are best under certain situations. I didn't go hunting for chapter by chapter missables or any of that spreadsheet ass nonsense. I just existed in the world and let it talk to me instead of the other way around. And that one decision changed everything. I can even pinpoint to the exact moment where everything clicked. And the funny thing is, it wasn't some dramatic cutscene or a huge plot twist. It was completely unscripted. Well, at least for me, it felt that way. And I'd love to know if you had a moment like that too. So I'm riding into Valentine, minding my own business, trying to buy a new varmint rifle, right? Nothing dramatic. There's no grand plan. It's just an errand. I then stumble across a trail of blood on the ground. So, being naive as fuck, naturally, curiosity got the better of me, and I follow it. I first find a dismembered leg, which is fine. I mean, this is Red Dead, not exactly shocking. So I keep following it, and much to my surprise, I see a corpse hanging under a bridge, cut clean in half with its intestines hanging out. Then to my right, I see the words, "Look on my works," painted on a stone. Now look, I know logically this is a scripted little Easter egg that somebody at Rockstar built and placed in the world on purpose. But in that moment, it didn't feel that way at all. There was no mission marker, there was no UI prompt, no little exclamation point over someone's head telling me something was interesting here. I wasn't pointed to it. I found it because I was paying attention, almost the same way you'd stumble into something weird on a hike. That is genuinely one of the most purest forms of discovery I think I've ever felt in an open world game. And it's at that moment I finally understood what people meant when they talked about open world exploration actually meaning something. It doesn't just hand you a list of distractions and calls that freedom. It builds a world convincing enough that you start making your own reasons to stay out there. Rockstar's official material leaned hard into that idea of a living frontier. That sounds like a bullet point until you actually spend time in the damn thing and realize the world does not need you to be important for it to feel alive. It continues to live on whether you're paying attention to it or not. And that small stuff adds up into something that feels less like a game level and more like a place. You'll just be riding somewhere and see some weird little moment play out that has absolutely nothing to do with your grand narrative. Animals hunt each other, people argue, A stranger says something offhand that sends you off in a completely different direction. I've watched nature in this game basically do free side content in front of me. Hell, I've seen a deer get absolutely folded by another, and all I could think of was, well, thanks for the free meat, I guess. And the crazy part is, these trivial moments had a greater impact on me than most of the open world games I've ever played, because here's the thing, I'm a rusher by nature. Give me an open world game and my instinct is just to bolt from objective to objective like I'm being timed. Red Dead did the complete opposite for me. It forced me to slow down, and I mean actually slow down, to the point where I can't even tell you how many nights I lost my fucking lunch money playing poker in camp until 2 in the morning, grinding for hours, walking away with a grand total of $3 because I wanted to beat one specific guy at the table so badly. That's not rational. That's not optimal. That's just a game that got its hooks in me on a level I genuinely didn't expect. But that's the magic of it. The game gets you to care about trivial things because the world around those things feels so real. And to me, that's a way more powerful kind of storytelling than just cutscene, mission. And of course, I'm not saying the actual story isn't good, because it absolutely is. Rockstar's own setup still rules. I mean, America, 1899, the Wild West dying out, Arthur Morgan and the Vanderlyn gang on the run after a robbery gone wrong, federal agents closing in, the gang splitting apart under pressure, Arthur caught between loyalty and his own conscience. Like, that premise still hits. And Arthur still feels like one of the greatest protagonists Rockstar has ever put on screen. Some of the best characters and best stories in this game aren't even story missions, they're just things that happen. I remember running into this guy, like in the dead of the night, this wannabe gunslinger full of himself, like literally full of shit because he lived on a pig farm. And one way or another, we ended up being in a gun draw. And because I was feeling honorable, I decided to disarm him instead of killing him outright. And then the guy had a nerve to come at me with a knife, so I did so in return, and in one stroke, put the knife through his neck and into his brain so that he fell into the very same pig shit that I helped to shovel. There was no cutscene that set that up. It's just what happened because of the choices I made in that specific moment. And that's on top of the whole honor system quietly tracking you who you are throughout the game. Every playthrough is genuinely different because of moments like that, and that's rare. It also doesn't hurt that the sound design and music composed by Woody Jackson, with Daniel Lanois producing the vocal material and contributions from more than 110 musicians, really helped. The ambience, the creaks, the distant animal calls, the way gunshots crack through the air, the way a ride can go from peaceful to ominous in seconds. It all helps sell the illusion that you're not playing a theme park version of the frontier, you're inhabiting one. But what surprised me on this third playthrough is that the main story wasn't the only thing carrying me anymore. It was the camp conversations, it was the long rides, it was the feeling of weather rolling in, it was the sound of mud under my boots, it was hearing a town before you fully saw it, it was realizing this game's music isn't just there to fill silence, but to shape mood in a really surgical way. Now look, I'm not gonna sit here and pretend the game is for everybody, because it isn't. We all live in a TikTok brain rot world where nobody can sit still more than 11 seconds, and Red Dead Redemption 2 demands the exact opposite of that. That deliberate pace is a big part of why some people may bounce off of it, and honestly, fair enough. This is not a game trying to hit you with instant gratification every 30 seconds. It's asking you to settle into wait, friction, travel time, observation. For some people, that's gonna sound miserable, but for me, once I finally accepted it, that became the entire appeal. The game is almost rebellious in many ways. It makes you present. Weirdly, it can make you more present in a fake world than a lot of us are in the real one. I do want to give the game one real critique, and that for me is probably the gold medal challenges are, in my opinion, one of the only genuinely unenjoyable parts of the experience, because so many of them are built around beating a mission within a strict time limit, or hitting a certain accuracy threshold, or landing headshots, and that completely contradicts the entire point of the game. I understand why they did it. They wanted replayability, they wanted a reason to go back through missions, but forcing a time limit into a game whose entire philosophy is to slow down and look around is such a strange, almost self-defeating design choice. I think there's a smarter way to build replayability into that system without turning half the missions into a stopwatch exercise, and it's one of the only parts of the game that actively worked against everything else it was trying to be. But even with that, I keep coming back to the same conclusion. There really isn't much else like it. And I know that sounds like the most obvious thing you could possibly say about Red Dead Redemption 2 in 2026. Everyone and their grandmother has called this game a masterpiece. What I'm saying is, I finally understood why those things matter. They matter because this game changed the way I approach it. It stopped being a product I was trying to finish and started becoming a place I wanted to return to. And that's a huge difference. And I think this is exactly why third time's the charm makes so much sense with this one. Maybe I came back because I wanted something low pressure. Maybe I wanted a game that wasn't screaming at me every second. Maybe I wanted something that didn't feel like another live service obligation or another open world rat race like World of Warcraft. Funny enough, I found a game that didn't demand much time at me at first and then completely consumed my time anyway. That's the trick Red Dead Redemption 2 pulls. It asks for less urgency and somehow earns more investment. But if you're someone like me, someone who maybe bought it years ago, maybe tried it once or twice, maybe respected it more than you actually enjoyed it, I really think there's a chance that you haven't met it the right way yet. Stop treating it like a checklist. Stop trying to win at it. Stop asking what the fastest route is. Just get on a horse and go somewhere. Let the world interrupt you. Let some weird stranger waste your night. Let a random blood trail ruin your plans. Let a poker table steal 2 hours from you for basically no money. Let the game be a place before it becomes a progression path. Because once I finally did that, Red Dead Redemption 2 stopped feeling like this legendary game I was supposed to appreciate and started feeling like an experience I genuinely didn't want to leave. And to have this effect after so many years, that might be one of the most impressive thing about it. It's still one of the best arguments for why open worlds exist in the first place. Anyway, that's it for me. I'd love to hear about your own experiences with this game and maybe that one moment that felt unscripted and was the catalyst to getting you hooked. Oh, and if you enjoyed the video, of course, appreciate any like, hype, and subscribes. With that said, partner, I'll catch you on the next one.